Well, guys, welcome back to another one.
Hey, you guys like my work truck? 3 boulders in the back, what do you think?
If you want a 2-footer. Okay, so about 5 weeks ago, I was on the phone like always, and I got a call from California. I usually don't answer California numbers. Occasionally,
Usually fraud.
yeah, it's usually fraud. Like this guy. Anyway, I got a voicemail. It said, "Hey, guy," said, "Hey, my name's Pete. I would like to. Watch your YouTube. I'd like to meet you someday, or something like that." So I called back, and we ended up talking for a couple hours. And now we're standing here in Minnesota. So anyway, Pete, what's kind of your backstory? What have you done? Where have you been?
Grew up in San Diego. My dad had a small construction cleanup company, and I just grew up with him, going to jobs, him and my 2 brothers, sitting side by side in a tiny little pickup truck since I was 4 years old. So love to work. Got older, picked up odd jobs, did every trade, here and there. Ended up working for a real estate company which had some construction departments, and a couple years ago left to run my own business, concrete cutting business.
So I'm pretty interested in that. You've done some with that business that not a lot of people do or can do. So kind of describe that on what it was when you got it, when you picked it up, and where it is this very second.
Well, keep in mind, we're not through the woods yet. I don't know if it was the smartest thing. For sure. We'll know in a few years. But my wife knows how to find businesses. She worked as a real estate agent, and so she also looks for business listings. And so when we left the company where we were at, she decided to help me try and find a small business that was kind of needed some life breathed back into it.
Yeah, like it had potential, but it wasn't like all there. It wasn't like it didn't have the energy or ambition that it needed.
Right, exactly. Basically, good bones.
Yeah.
Looking for good bones, good customer list in a line of work that is profitable and something that I could pick up and manage.
Yeah.
Like,
because have you ever done concrete cutting before that?
No. But if you wanted me to be like, pipeline welder, that would take me years to learn how to do that. We found this little business that was, and we didn't know we were looking for that. We were looking for any business.
How'd you find it? How'd you come across it?
My wife talked to, I don't know, probably 100 different business brokers. Just looked at every business online, everything from sign companies to laundromats, roofing companies, and every business had one problem or another.
Yeah.
Either there was no profit, or it had, it was set up where the owner knew everything and it couldn't run without him.
Yeah. So quick question.
Yeah.
So you before you came here, before you got to know me, you saw what everyone else on YouTube sees.
Yeah.
And like everyone on YouTube, just for the record, you only see what I want you to see. So know that as you're watching my video.
It's totally different.
While you're watching everyone's video, you only see what they want you to see. So now you've been here working with us. You came here in the morning. You worked with us. You've seen our whole company. You've seen everything we do. So like, what's one thing that what would you say our biggest problem is right now? About coming here and seeing, like, being dead honest. What's our biggest struggle?
Well, first of all, contrary to what I just said, you guys are exactly the same as in the videos. That's great, because I was drawn to call you for the first time because I recognize just from the way you talk that you guys were ethical, hardworking, you had integrity. People don't say, like, you can tell by the way people talk.
Yeah.
And it's been absolutely how I feel. But I think one thing that you guys are facing is just scaling. Scaling problems is that what you were doing 3 years ago, you stopped doing a year ago and you'll never do again.
Right.
And what the guy that replaced you was doing a year ago, he's already past that and he'll never do again.
Yeah.
And even though you guys are all really good at the individual roles, like that's what made your company great when you started, to take a sidestep, like I bought a business that already existed and I'm just trying to fix problems. You started with nothing, created from scratch, and so every system you create is new.
Right.
And so if you don't figure out how to replicate the sales, the estimating, the bookkeeping, the on-site management, the training, the hiring, all those things, you will not be able to do that forever by yourself.
Right. Yeah, I understand. Like, I know that I don't want to do it again this year. Like,
right, but how are you going to find somebody who can do that as well or as you can, or good enough that you can allow him to do that without messing up your beautiful company? Maybe there's somebody who watches your channel sometime who knows somebody who is, the most honest, hardworking, trustworthy person.
Yep.
Who wants a chance to work at a great company.
Yeah.
And who is humble and teachable, willing to learn anything.
Yeah.
And would you be interested in getting a call from somebody like that?
Absolutely. If you're out there, if you're in this area, if you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, if you're anywhere in the world, and you want to do estimating and landscape design and sales next year, call me. My number's all over the internet. You can call me.
He's hard to find, and he does pick up unbelievably.
I get back to every call, every voicemail, every call I call them back. It may not be immediately, but it will be within a reasonable amount of time. So anyway, back to the concrete companies. We found a broken down.
So we found a business with a good reputation that had been around for 22 years, and it was focused on saw cutting and core drilling. No demo, nothing else. Had one employee, and we ended up making an offer and coming to terms. And honestly, you know, it's me and my wife. We're married. We've been married for almost 7 years. We have now 3 kids. At the time, we had 2. And we went together. We met with the seller. We met with the broker, and it's like what you told me earlier today. You said that, like, when you show up at a job and you hit it off with the customer. Why? It's not because you have a huge ego, not because you know the most that anyone has ever known about the job. It's because you're honest, you're polite, you pay attention, you like say, you know, what you're going to do and do what you're going to say.
Right.
And so we just showed up and we said, hey, I'm Pete, my wife. We're married. These are our kids. Like, we're interested in your company. This is what we can afford. And then we basically left the meeting with a pretty good feeling.
Yeah.
Made an offer, came to terms, and maybe 3 months later, all the paperwork was done, and I didn't actually buy the company. I just bought the assets because you never know.
Right.
Maybe there was some lawsuit that was pending, and it's hard to know all those things. And there's, you know, reasons for and against doing that, but without getting into all that, good experience.
So you're gonna go buy another company right now. Would you buy another one, like a small store like that, or would you start from scratch?
There's advantages and disadvantages. The advantage of starting with something that exists is those first few months, we had customers calling already.
Right.
They had been customers for 2 decades.
Right.
And they didn't even necessarily know until we told them that the company had sold.
Right, it's the same number, everything.
It's the same number, it's the same name, and it was the same employee who was the lead operator who was showing up doing their job.
Right.
And so I had the opportunity to show up as his helper, meet the customer, figure out the things that we need to do better, and then have a really good first impression.
Yeah.
And checks were coming in.
Right.
So like month 1,
It was a lot better than my month 1.
month 1,
I guarantee it.
I had, I think, $5,000 come in.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Right.
Well, it was 1 week of the first month, $5,000. So the advantage of buying a company is you already have existing customers and sales potential,
Right.
and a team possibly.
Well, so when did you buy that? Was it?
I bought that June 23rd of 2019.
Okay, so it's been a little over a year.
A little over a year.
And you bought it, and they ran on average 200,000 a year.
Yeah, 180 to 220. So to answer your question, like, would I buy again or would I start from scratch? Well, this is part of the exercise of me coming up here. I'm talking to somebody who started from scratch. I want to learn from you. So the advantage of buying is there's something already there, and then you can just make improvements.
Right.
The advantage of starting from scratch is you don't have to start with
Nothing.
the advantage
Basically
of starting from scratch is you don't have to fix a bunch of problems.
That you have that you may or may not create.
Employees with bad attitudes, broken equipment, customers that are used to treating you a certain way or paying you in 90 days. Like,
You don't have a bunch of problems you have to fix that someone else created, basically. You're
Right.
fixing other guy's problems.
so it's blue sky instead of like predictable problems to
Right.
fix.
Right.
So I know my skill set from what I've done in the past working for other companies. I was allowed to like,
Kind of do the same thing there.
come into a little business and try to make improvements.
Yeah.
So imagine you show up on a job site and there's a tree that's crooked. You immediately know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine you show up to a job site and there's no landscaping. You could make a lot of money or you could lose your shirt.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say for you, you've got no fear. You're like, what have I got to lose? Let's go
I had no
for
fear.
it, right?
I had no money. I had no money.
And for me,
And when I was so young too, 17, like there's no way I'm ever gonna borrow the money or get the money to buy a business.
so at that point, I would say if you're 17, don't buy a company, start from scratch. You got nothing to lose. For me, I was married with kids and like responsibilities and like bills and mortgage, and I'm like, okay, I can't wait 3 years. Like if it takes me 3 years to get so I can make minimum wage,
Right.
that's too long.
Right. Right. Where me, it's like I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So yeah. So you bought it a little over a year ago at an average of 200,000 a year, and so what'd you do in the first year then? What were you able to pull off?
The first year, 2019, we basically went from first month, last week of June was $5,000. Second month of July we did 15. Third month we did 27. Fourth month I think we did like 21, and then we started doing like 60 every single month. So I would say we closed out year 1 right around, well, for that half of the year, like $250,000.
Yeah.
So basically we were able to double
Yeah, because you have
in size,
the
right.
remaining of the half a year.
And I went from that 1 employee to about 5 employees.
Yeah.
And then year 2, we started off like December, January, February with a bang on between $80,000 and like $60,000 to $80,000 a month.
Yeah.
And then March hit, and like everybody knows, this is the excuse of the century, right? Which we all hate.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible excuse.
But rather than talk about how much we hate it, like it did affect my business because everyone who was bidding jobs and handing out jobs, they just pushed pause for a few months.
Yeah.
Right. And so for my business, what happened is I went from doing like 80 a month to 30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing every week like how many jobs were going to come in, I didn't want to fire my team that I'd spent all fall and all winter building because I knew we were going to have a crazy year.
Yep.
So I basically had a team meeting and said, guys, I'm going to take jobs that we wouldn't normally take, even with lower profit, as long as I can pay your salaries and pay my expenses.
Yep.
I'm going to take them to keep all of you
It's better than doing nothing.
busy, and they all wanted to work.
Yeah.
So I learned some good things and some bad things from that. Ultimately, not all those people stayed.
Yeah.
Now we've kind of, we had slimmed down the team and then ended up rebuilding, and now we have about 5 guys. Yeah. And I think it's the best team we've ever had. They're all awesome.
So what's your future plans? You bought the company at $200,000 in the first year. You more than doubled it. Say, what do you foresee in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years?
So this year we're hoping to do around 800,000. Mm-hmm. So I would like at the beginning of the year, without COVID, I did a budget for $1 million. $1 million a year in San Diego. We don't really have to worry about the rainy season so much.
Yep.
Figure $80,000 a month.
Yep.
$80,000 a month is $20,000 a week. So figure a couple rain days, and then you have a few days where you do 2,000, and then you throw me on a skid and we do some demo, and you do 5,000.
What did you have to do to keep a company, to take a company that's been doing it's been so flat for so long? What did you have to do to go vertical?
So you have to do a couple things. Number one, you have to sell additional services to existing clients.
Yeah.
Either more
use the client base you already have.
Right. That's the easiest place. They already know you. They already like you.
They already trust you.
Right. So if you call your existing client and say, hey, up till now, we haven't offered any demolition services.
Yeah.
Starting tomorrow, we will remove the concrete for you.
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you, every client that needs the concrete cut, that's planning on having it removed, also wants it removed.
Right.
So either they're doing it or somebody else is doing it.
Perfect upsell.
Right.
Yeah.
The problem is now you have to train a totally different skill set and buy new equipment.
Right.
I figured a skid steer with a jackhammer is very versatile, so I bought it. And we had instant business. Yeah. So number one, started selling more services, different services to existing clients, and then more services to existing clients you have. And then 3, we started advertising on Home Advisor. That's something I noticed.
A lot of people on here, either one of you loves it or hates it. I know I've had overall pretty good.
My biggest sales and my biggest clients to date have been through Home Advisor.
Yep, same. I mean, I've gotten $50,000 jobs through Home Advisor off a $30,000 lead.
So,
or $30 lead, I've got $50,000 job.
So I'll tell you what. So in concrete cutting, even though I said it doesn't rain in San Diego, it kind of does, or it did last year a lot. And come November, I got scared because remember that drop that I mentioned?
Yep.
Like the rain hit, and we didn't know what to do. Nobody wants to be cutting concrete outside in the rain.
Or how much concrete are they pouring when it's raining?
Not a lot.
Right.
So we needed indoor work.
Yep.
So off of Home Advisor, I get a call. My wife and I, we literally got together and we said, we got to keep these guys busy.
Right.
We believe in God, and we said, God, give us this daily bread. Literally, we prayed that prayer. And I got a call from Home Advisor. The guy says, can you core drill 13 holes for me in this hotel downtown? Okay, 13 holes, that's like half a day for one guy. Yeah. I'm there within 45 minutes. I look at the job. He's like, I give my prices. He's like, okay, can you start today? Yeah. I can't start today, I can start tomorrow. He had work for us every single rain day for the next 3 months.
Wow.
Over $100,000 worth of work.
That's
kept all my guys out of the rain. And that was off a $36 Home Advisor lead.
Right, 100%. Think if you would have spent that $36, it would have cost you $100,000. You're dumb not to. You would have been dumb not to use it. Yeah, that's amazing. Were you uncomfortable?
Not too bad. I mean, a little bit. Jameson was looking at me weird. He's upset because, I left the key on in the Bobcat, so I'm gonna get written up for that.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you'd like. If not, no big deal. And remember, in order to get results that no one else is getting, you must do things no one else is doing.
Do you agree, Pete?
I agree. That's why I'm out here in Minnesota.
Thank you, sir.
You have to pay to use my likeness.